Kathy Hochul is losing it because Donald Trump is saying, you know what? DC is a scary place. DC is a bad place. And we actually need to do something to get the crime under control. And if you guys won't do it, well, hey, you know what? This is in my jurisdiction. I'm the chief executive, right, of the whole darn country. Take a look at these statistics. He's like, if you won't do it, maybe I will. And this is sending them into some kind of shock. Because I'll tell you what's sending me into shock, looking at these statistics. So these came out yesterday. I believe this graphic, which one of my team members sent to me, is courtesy of Fox. I can tell just from the graphic design. I used to work there. So anyway, it's a good graphic. I'm looking at DC, right? Versus Lima versus Havana versus, and I'm going to say this out because some of you guys listen, and thank you for listening to this podcast, but this is also on video on YouTube Live. I'm looking at DC, which is shocking, 41 per 1,000. That's insane. These are homicide rates in DC versus, I mean, my gosh, you can go to Mexico City. It's 8 per 100,000. That's crazy. I mean, Mexico City, you actually worry about. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to really worry. But when I'm in Mexico City, I kind of worry when I'm in Bogota. I kind of worry when I'm in Lima, Peru, or maybe, Havana or someplace down in Brazil. And yet, no. The real place you need to worry about is being in Washington, D.C., because the numbers are staggering. I mean, DC, 41 per 100,000 homicide rates. You've got Lima at 7 per 100,000. You've got Havana at 4 per 100,000. Bogota, 11 per 100,000. So, I mean, you're talking about multiples of Mexico City at 6 per 100,000. Multiples of places that are notoriously dangerous. And this is the United States of America. I mean, there's no reason that we should have that. And so Donald Trump has said, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. I think that this is unacceptable. And because of that, I think it's important for me to spend the next 7 days putting this under effectively federal control. So now they all are shouting, okay, this guy is a dictator, this, that, and the other. You know where this is going, right? Because this is all that they do. But when you look at those homicide rates, you understand why he is upset. Why he is upset. Well, I'll just say that Kathy Hochul is also upset. The governor of New York, I guarantee it. Letitia's upset, but Letitia's sweating bullets because she's got subpoenas now up the up the wazoo. And I'm sure she's working on her fundraising letters already. She loves this. That's how twisted this is, okay, guys? That's how twisted this is. Donald Trump, on the other hand, was mad, right, when it happened to him. I think some of these people get kind of happy because they're like, oh, I can ride this one all the way to the bank. Kathy Hochul is now saying, how dare he go in and try and take over D.C., and she says she's going to fight it, right, because she's a street fighter from Buffalo. Oh. You'd think you'd be a better governor then if you were a street fighter from Buffalo. You'd think he'd care about the people that are actually getting beaten up and worse in the streets of New York City and the rest of your state. Kathy Hochul. Anyway, here she is. Watch.
Well, Michael, just on the first premise of your question, I've never been a hand-wringer on the sidelines. I'm a street fighter from Buffalo, and my blood is boiling over this. And so is the other governors, the other Democratic governors. We've talked about this. And history will judge us how we respond in this moment. Because if we allow the Republicans to get away with what they're attempting to do, this legal insurrection of our U.S. Capitol, then we'll have a generation of redistricted, gerrymandered seats that are skewed against Democrats. And when will we ever get the balance of power, at least in Washington? I served in Congress.
They've been gerrymandering. Let's just be really, really clear, for years and years and years and years. And so now, down in Texas, the conservatives have the floor, shall we say, and they want to basically put some rules through that would gerrymander, say, Jasmine Crockett out of her jurisdiction, right, out of her area. And so she's really upset about it. All the Democrats are really upset about it. But, when they do this to us, right, when it's the other way around, it's very interesting. How when it's the other way around, it's all about, suppression and, not standing up for diversity and this, that, and the other. Yeah. But when Republicans get the ball and try and run with it, Texas Democrats just flee. I mean, they literally flee the state so that you can't have a quorum, so you can't actually have a vote. That's their answer. They don't actually engage with what they need to do. And so, yes, the Texas governor has said, I'm going to arrest them all. I'm looking for them as we speak. Meanwhile, you have what's going on in the nation's capital with Donald Trump saying this place is an HELL hole, right? It's a total hellhole. Just look at the crime statistics, and I'm going to do something about it, which leads Kathy Hochul to say what she's saying. And then there's not so little, Stacy Abrams down in Georgia, who is saying this.
Among the many other vile things that Donald Trump has been called, including tyrant, liar, scam artist, he is also an aspiring dictator, supported and guided like a puppet by a cabal of tech billionaires, Christian nationalists, and xenophobes.
Woo! Okay. Jeez. I don't know. Does she have a podcast now or something? I don't know what Stacey's doing. She doesn't have any billion-dollar energy companies to run right now, where they give away free stoves and that kind of stuff. So she may be doing a podcast. I'm not sure what that is that we just saw, with her little side shot and everything. Maybe it is her own show. Who knows? Anyway, Stacey Abrams is out there blabbing. Kathy Hochul. I mean, they're all going nuts over on MSNBC. It's a rather constant and similar story, but I guess we've seen this movie before. I mean, think about what Tulsi told my former colleague Laura Ingraham the other night when she said, hey, we got a media that doesn't want to report on what went down vis-a-vis Russiagate because, well, they were part of it. Let's be honest. They're part of the system. They're part of the whole thing. So they're not going to tell you, for example, credit to Fox for putting this graphic out, right? And some of the conservative media out there, but they don't want to tell you what's really going on, say in DC or elsewhere, because they were part of the system. They ignore what they choose to ignore for a reason. Here's Tulsi.
They are using the same old tactic that the deep state's propaganda arm in the media uses. Whenever they come across something that is true and that doesn't go along with whatever their narrative is that they're trying to shove down the throats of the American people, they first usually ignore it, as they did when I first released these documents a couple of weeks ago. They tried to ignore it. When they realized that they weren't going to get away with this, that this story was going to continue breathing life, we continued releasing new documents. Then they decided, we'll take this approach of say, this is nothing. There's nothing really to see here. This is bizarre. This is a conspiracy. These are the things that they do over and over and over again. And the next step they will take when they feel that they are not succeeding in getting rid of this truth that we have uncovered for the American people, then they will go down the route of we must destroy and smear and attack the credibility of those who are delivering the truth to the American people. They've done this to President Trump. They've done this to me. They've done this to so many different people, once again, who are trying to tell the American people the truth and expose these people, many of whom you just showed, for who they are as the propaganda arm of the deep state, which would have no power and no influence if they weren't able to feed their lies into a willing spokesperson through the propaganda media.
So just think about that. I think spokesperson is the right word to use. So CNN became a spokesperson for the left, a spokesperson for Brennan, for Comey, and the same over at MSNBC. It's just interesting with CNN because they're so international. I sort of wonder, were they part of these sort of international money scheme, right? With USAID, were they getting any kind of kickbacks? What is it that made them so set on putting forth a narrative that was just anti-Trump no matter what? He could be like, it's a beautiful sunny day out, and it could be a beautiful sunny day, and they'd be like, no, it's a hurricane. It was just, and is sort of bizarre. And we're continuing to live in this really super bizarre world where the media is just getting hammered for it.